This video contains triggering topics. Viewer discretion advised.
Diana, Princess of Wales, through her extensive humanitarian work, will demonstrate that the British royal family and its positions can still be relevant and helpful, if used correctly. Diana successfully used her highly privileged position for the good of the British people and the world in general, and for this she was extremely well-loved and popular. Her life, while short, was one of service and thoughtfulness. Diana was most well known for her advocacy during the 1980s AIDS and HIV crisis in the LGBTQ+ community, children's welfare, mental health, her push to ban landmines, and much more. Diana made a great impact as Princess of Wales with her humanitarian work, which is how she demonstrated that the monarchy can remain relevant in today's world. Who is Diana, Princess of Wales? Diana was born the Honourable Diana Frances Spencer on July 1, 1961, as the third child and third daughter out of 4 children in the Spencer aristocratic family. She became known as Lady Diana Spencer in 1975 when her father inherited his earldom, making him Earl Spencer, Royal, UK. Diana may have been born into a privileged upbringing, however, this does not mean she had an easy childhood. Diana and her siblings had traumatic childhoods, due to their parents' divorce in 1969 after her mother's adultery and the physical abuse from her father. Diana's mother lost custody of the children, and her father married Rain McCoquadale, who became Rain Spencer. Diana and her siblings Sarah Jane and Charles did not like their stepmother, nicknaming her Acid Rain, Cal. Diana's childhood trauma would continue to affect her, even in adulthood. When Diana was 19 in February 1981, she became engaged to His Majesty King Charles III, His Royal Highness Charles, the Prince of Wales at the time. The pair were married in July 1981, and Diana went from Lady Diana Spencer to Her Royal Highness Diana, the Princess of Wales and the future Queen of England at age 20. Diana's family had been close to the royal family for years, with her family even renting Park House on the Sandringham estate from Queen Elizabeth II. And Diana would play with Prince Edward and Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, formerly Prince Andrew. Diana's maternal grandmother, Lady Fermy, was also a close friend and lady-in-waiting of Queen Elizabeth the Queen Mother, who was the mother of Queen Elizabeth and widow of King George VI. This is when Diana's humanitarian work and efforts to form the monarchy into a more modern institution would begin. Unfortunately, Diana still had mental health challenges, which will be highlighted within this paper. Even from the beginning of Diana's time in the royal family, she worked to modernize the institution. Diana was the first royal bride to pick her engagement ring out of a catalogue, and not a custom one at that. The Princess of Wales also decided to have the promise to obey her husband removed from her wedding vows, Birchfield, which had never been done before. Diana was a breath of fresh air in the royal family, which was still pretty conservative at the time. The Princess of Wales was not afraid to challenge the family's ideals and how they treated her. Diana broke royal protocol often, which leads us into the first impactful piece of humanitarian work Diana worked toward. In April 1987, she opened the United Kingdom's first HIV/AIDS unit at London Middlesex Hospital, BBC. According to Dr. Clark, she was reported to have touched, with an ungloved hand, an AIDS patient in front of the media. This public gesture made a great impact. It destigmatized AIDS and HIV as, back in the 1980s, it was thought you could get AIDS or HIV just by touching people who had the disease. Princess Diana knew that this wasn't true, and went out of her way to use her public role to show what was actually the truth. Diana cared about these people, and saw them just the same as she would anyone else, despite their difference in social status. The Princess of Wales additionally made a speech about HIV at the Children and AIDS Conference in 1991, stating the following: "HIV does not make people dangerous to know. You can shake their hands and give them a hug. Heaven knows they need it, Dibdin." Diana deeply cared about this issue, and visited AIDS and HIV patients many times in hospitals and talked, joked, laughed, and shook hands with them upon greeting. She treated HIV and AIDS patients, and all of the LGBTQ+ community as actual human beings, because that's what they are. Diana cared deeply about all the people, and queer people were no exception. Thanks to her advocacy, AIDS and HIV is much less stigmatized, and same-sex marriage has been legal in the United Kingdom since 2014. Gov. UK. Diana, Princess of Wales, also cared about children with AIDS and HIV. The Princess of Wales visited Harlem Hospital in her New York City, USA solo trip in 1989, famously hugging a child with AIDS, Goldman. Diana, Princess of Wales, didn't stop with breaking stigmas of both HIV and AIDS. She also dismantled the stigma on mental health and eating disorders. As mentioned above, Diana faced mental challenges herself and wasn't afraid to speak publicly about them. These struggles were due to her struggles with her marriage to Charles, which ended in divorce in 1996, which made her Diana, Princess of Wales, losing the honor of Her Royal Highness and other titles she gained after marriage. They had little in common, a large age gap, and Charles never truly got over or ended his affair and previous romance with Mrs. Camilla Parker Bowles, cheating on Diana with her even during their engagement. She also felt misunderstood and out of place in the royal family, as the majority of them were much older than her and quite traditional. Due to this, Diana unfortunately developed the eating disorder bulimia nervosa, which is an eating disorder that involves the one suffering from binge eating, and then purging afterwards, often starving one's self or vomiting. Taylor, this began after Charles commented on Diana's body, saying, "Oh, a bit chubby here, aren't we?" when he put his hand on his wife's waistline, Taylor. This triggered something in Diana and caused her to suffer. She lost tens of pounds and didn't get over it until a number of years later. She talked about this in her 1995 Panorama interview with Martin Bashir, stating, "I had bulimia for a number of years, and that's like a secret disease. You inflict it upon yourself because your self-esteem is at a low ebb and you don't think you're worthy or valuable. You fill your stomach up 4 or 5 times a day, some do it more, and it gives you a feeling of comfort. It's like having a pair of arms around you, but it's temporary. Then you're disgusted at the bloatedness of your stomach, and then you bring it all up again." Taylor. According to McGuigan, depression and bulimia were the result of a disappointing and desperately unhappy marriage. McGuigan 11. Diana also participated in the creation of a book called Diana, her true story, published in 1992. McGuigan continued, according to the Diana Morton version, Charles carried on with Camilla just as before and went out hunting with her in time-worn aristocratic fashion. McGuigan 11. The Princess of Wales yet again connected with the people and made them feel less alone. Regular day people who had mental struggles or struggles in their marriage were able to relate to the princess and really connected and identified with her. Diana also advocated for the ban of landmines, famously visited Angola and walked through the landmines. She also visited landmines in Bosnia and was campaigning so vociferously against landmines. The Lancet. Diana, Princess of Wales, spent time with survivors of the landmines, such as children who lost limbs from the landmines, emphasizing why we need to ban landmines. She made such a personal impact on the survivors she spent time with. One of the children she visited, Sandra Tijica, later named one of her daughters Diana, after the late princess. Before Diana, Princess of Wales visited the landmines and had her famous walk through the Angola landmine. Landmines were not a very well-known issue. However, after they became very well known due to Diana's high popularity. The Princess of Wales's campaign against landmines became so well known, legislation was even passed in response to it. This forced the United Kingdom, the country Diana called home, and many others to agree to a treaty ban for landmines, called the Ottawa Treaty. It was proposed in September 1997, right after her death, and passed in March 1999, Halausa.org. This made a substantial impact, as many landmines across the world were cleared out, and now can house towns that are safe and livable, benefiting millions of people. There are some counterarguments to Diana's humanitarian work, highlighted here. First, there are some people who think that the monarchy is pointless, and that Diana's role in it did nothing to change that fact. However, this can be easily disproven. Diana, Princess of Wales, was extremely popular, and due to her advocacy, a hospital was opened for HIV and AIDS in the United Kingdom, and anti-landmine legislation was passed, proving that her role as the Princess of Wales made a big impact. Another counterargument against the Princess of Wales's humanitarian work is those who sided with Charles and Camilla over Diana, and so in turn do not like Diana. I urge those to rethink who they are supporting, as the pair of Charles and Camilla caused Diana to suffer and committed adultery, which is an immoral act. Circling back to the monarchy, many people think that the monarchy is a problematic institution, which is true. However, people think that Diana is still problematic for her participation in it, which is untrue. Diana, Princess of Wales, made efforts to modernize the monarchy, and her mother-in-law's reign as queen focused on decolonizing, making Diana the first unproblematic royal. Unfortunately, Diana, Princess of Wales's impactful life was cut short on August 31, 1997, at the age of 36. The Princess of Wales died after being the victim of a car crash in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris, France. Her death was significant and made millions of people around the world cry in the streets, people who never even met her. Originally, the royal family and the Spencer family, Diana's family, agreed that Diana should have a private ceremony and not a royal funeral, as she was no longer a part of the royal family, and they wanted Harry and William and Harry, Diana's sons, to grieve privately. There was no half-staffed flag or announcement from the Queen, as this broke royal protocol and the royal family's agreement. However, they had to break protocol due to backlash from Brits and had a public funeral, and Her Majesty the Queen made a speech the day before the funeral, stating this: "First, I want to pay tribute to Diana myself. She was an exceptional and gifted human being. In good times and bad, she never lost her capacity to smile and laugh, nor to inspire others with her warmth and kindness. I admired and respected her for her energy and commitment to others, and especially for her devotion to her 2 boys. This week at Balmoral, we have all been trying to help William and Harry come to terms with the devastating loss that they and the rest of us have suffered. No one who knew Diana will ever forget her. Millions of others who never met her but felt they knew her will remember her. I for one believe there are lessons to be drawn from her life and from the extraordinary and moving reaction to her death. I share in your determination to cherish her memory. ITN." Diana, Princess of Wales's funeral was watched by over 2.5 billion people, History.com, yet again showing the impact Diana's life had on the world. 28 years on, nobody has forgotten her. You can still find new articles and posts on social media every day and weekly. She is talked about so much it could almost feel as though she is still here, and in a sort she is. Diana's legacy lives on through her sons and their families, showing that Diana's impact didn't stop when her life did. Both of her sons have advocated for LGBTQ+ rights just like her mother did. In 2019, Harry walked the same walk her mother did in Angola. His Royal Highness William, the Prince of Wales, has advocated for mental health, homelessness, and environmental issues, with him founding an organization for the environment called the Earthshot Prize.org. Additionally, Her Royal Highness Catherine, the Princess of Wales, the wife of Prince William and would have been Diana's daughter-in-law, has made great strides in her advocacy for mental health and childhood development. Coughlin. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, wife of Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, and who also would have been Diana's daughter-in-law, has advocated for mental health as well, and racial and gender equality, something Diana would have championed. Royston. Princess Diana wanted her children to be in touch and personal with the people, which her sons and their families have been doing, making Diana's goal successful. Overall, Princess Diana and her life was extremely impactful. She touched millions during her 16 years as a public figure, and even now 28 years after her tragic passing, she holds such a great influence. Diana really was the people's princess, as many like to call her, and really held up as a humanitarian figure, which Diana even referred to herself as in 1997. She championed HIV and AIDS advocacy, mental health, and making people feel less alone and more loved. That is what Diana, Princess of Wales, has done, proving that her role in life was so crucial and relevant in today's world. Her legacy lives on, continuing the institution's global relevanza.